Have you ever been there? You've studied English for years. You've learned all the grammar, memorized tons of words. But then when you actually need to speak in a real conversation, poof, your mind just goes blank. It's like everything is locked up, right? And your brain just can't connect the dots fast enough. Super frustrating. Yeah, and the core issue for so many people, it seems, is that the brain is still working in the native language. It's trying to translate everything into English like on the fly, and that creates this huge mental traffic jam, a bottleneck. Okay, let's unpack this. In this deep dive, we're really going to explore some practical, actionable ways to train your brain to think directly in English. It's like building a new mental pathway, something that can really change how you speak, listen, and will truly get the language.
Exactly. Think of this deep dive as a bit of a shortcut, actually, a way to get past one of the biggest hurdles language learners face, that constant translation barrier. It can feel almost impossible to break down sometimes. But as we'll explore today, making the shift, this seemingly simple change in how you approach it, can be really transformative. You'll get some solid steps to build that fluency.
Okay, so building this new pathway, why is this mental shift, going from translating to just thinking in English, why is that so incredibly crucial? What makes it such a game changer?
Well, what's fascinating here is how those little delays, the ones caused by translation, they really add up. They compound and create this pretty significant barrier. There are basically three key reasons it matters so much. First, like you said, translation just slows you down a lot. Imagine you want to say something really simple like, I'm hungry. If you first think it in your native language, then you have to translate each word, maybe adjust the grammar for English, then you speak it. That whole process takes time, and in a fast conversation, those little pauses, they really chip away at your confidence. You feel like you're always playing catch up.
Yeah, you're always one step behind the flow of the conversation.
Exactly. And second, translation often leads to mistakes. Or maybe not outright mistakes, but things that sound unnatural. Direct word-for-word translations often don't work. Idioms, common phrases, they can sound really weird in English if you just translate them literally. But if you're thinking directly in English, your brain's already kind of working inside that system. It picks the natural phrasing like a native speaker would.
I see. You're using the language's own logic, not forcing another language of structure onto it.
Precisely. You're building sentences naturally, not assembling this weird puzzle. And third, thinking in English actually trains your brain for speed and fluency. Real conversations are fast.
Right.
If your brain is doing that translation loop constantly, it's just lagging. But if it's already in English mode, processing thoughts directly, you can keep up. You can respond faster. You sound much more fluent. It's about creating that direct connection, bypassing the detour that makes it slow.
That makes total sense. It's like trying to run two complex programs at once instead of just one. Okay, so to start building that direct connection, that first practical step, it's immersion, right? Creating this sort of English world around you, even if you can't, pack your bags and move. Here's where it gets really interesting, though. How do we actually start immersing ourselves without feeling totally lost or just passively listening? Is it quantity or consistency first?
Yeah, right. Consistency is key, especially at the beginning. The goal is to make English just a normal part of your environment. So practically, small, consistent changes. Switch your phone language to English. Your computer, your apps. Start following some English YouTube channels, podcasts, whatever interests you. Cooking, tech, anything. Watch shows, movies in English. Maybe start with subtitles? Sure, but then try turning them off. Even just listening to music and trying to catch the lyrics, it all adds up.
Okay, so lots of input.
Exactly. The more English you consistently encounter, the more your brain just accepts it as normal, not foreign. And yeah, I get it. Someone listening might think, but it'll feel weird or I won't understand everything. And that's true at first. But you don't need to understand every single word. Your brain is amazing at picking up patterns, rhythms, context, even unconsciously.
Like how kids learn. They just absorb it.
Pretty much. They don't get grammar lessons, but their brains are figuring it out from the input. So yeah, a little discomfort is normal, but stick with it. Consistent exposure really works. You're basically training your brain even when you don't realize it.
That neuroplasticity idea is powerful. Our brains want to adapt. Okay, so we've set up the environment. Now the next step is internal, right? Inside our own heads. How do we start bringing English into our actual thoughts, even the really basic ones, to start building that internal muscle?
Yes, exactly. This is about deliberate internal practice. Think of it like doing small, easy reps at the gym. The method is simple. When you notice yourself having a simple thought in your native language, one you definitely know how to say in English, consciously pause and then mentally translate it, or rather rephrase it in English. So you think, I'm hungry in your language, you catch yourself, and then you think, I am hungry in English. Or you look outside, think it's raining, and immediately switch that thought to, it's raining. Simple things like, I have a meeting or I need coffee. The key isn't complexity here. It's just doing it consistently.
Like those small weights, building strength over time.
Precisely. The analogy, you're doing these little mental flexes, building that foundational strength. Later, the more complex thoughts will start happening in English more naturally.
Got it.
Daily reps for the language muscle. And speaking of daily, the third step really seemed to amplify this. Narrating your day to yourself in English. Yes, this one is incredibly effective because it goes beyond just those isolated thoughts. You're creating a continuous stream. You're literally talking yourself through your day, describing what you're doing, what you see, all in English in your head. So you wake up, you might think, okay, I'm brushing my teeth now. I need to make breakfast. You go outside. Wow, the sky is blue today. Oh, there's the bus coming. At work or studying maybe, I have so much homework. I'm feeling tired, but I'll get it done.
So you're constantly generating English sentences tied to your reality.
Exactly. They're actively producing, not just receiving. And it forces your brain to connect actions, objects, feelings directly to English words and structures. Over time, you'll find your brain just starts doing this automatically.
That internal monologue starts shifting to English without you even trying.
Brilliant way to make it automatic. Very proactive. Okay, so building on that direct connection idea, the next step sounds intriguing. It's described as a kind of secret of fluent speakers, thinking in pictures, not words.
Yes, this is a really cool insight. It taps into how our brains naturally process things, especially visually. It's about reducing the cognitive load. The idea is connect an idea or an object directly to an image or concept in your mind, not to the word for it in your native language first.
Okay, so bypassing the native language word entirely.
Exactly. Take the classic example, an apple. When you see an apple, don't first think your native word for it. Instead, train yourself to connect the image of that red, round fruit directly to the English word, apple.
Like how kids learn their first language. They just see it and hear the word.
Precisely. They don't translate. They form a direct link, object, word. You can sort of reprogram your brain to do this for English. Create that direct visual to English path.
How do you practice that consciously?
Well, try this simple exercise. Look around the room you're in right now, point at things mentally or even physically, and name them in English. Chair, table, window, light. If you hit a word you don't know, don't panic and jump back to your native language. Instead, try describing it using English words you do know. So if you forget chair, you could think a thing for sitting or a place to sit.
So you keep the thinking process in English.
Yes, it keeps that English part of your brain active and resourceful. Even with vocabulary gaps, it strengthens those direct connections. I remember doing this myself, consciously thinking dog, not my native word, until dog just popped up automatically with the image.
That's a clever trick to stay in the zone. Okay, so keeping the brain engaged, the next tip sounds maybe a little odd, but you say it's effective. Practicing small conversations with yourself.
Yes, it does sound a bit strange, but honestly, it works wonders for building confidence and fluency. It's like a mental rehearsal for real interactions. You can do it quietly, just in your head is fine. The idea is to ask yourself simple questions and then answer them in English, of course. Like what? Like maybe you're deciding on dinner. You ask yourself, okay, what should I eat today? Then answer, maybe I'll cook pasta. Oh, wait, no, I don't have any pasta. Okay, I'll just have rice instead.
So you're simulating the back and forth.
Exactly. It gets your brain used to forming questions, expressing ideas, changing your mind, all in English without any pressure. You're flexing that conversational muscle in a safe space. And if you want to take it up a notch, there's a technique called shadowing.
Shadowing.
Yeah. You listen to a podcast or a video in English, and you try to repeat what the speaker says immediately after they say it, like right on their heels. You mimic not just the words, but the rhythm, the intonation, the pronunciation. It's a serious workout for your brain, and your tongue really helps internalize natural speech patterns.
A workout for your brain and tongue. I like that. Sounds intense, but effective. Okay, shifting gears slightly, the next step is about learning bigger chunks, not just single words.
Yes, this is crucial. Learning isolated words means your brain has to build every single sentence from scratch, figuring out grammar and word order every time, which is slow, very slow. So instead, focus on learning and memorizing whole phrases or common chunks of language. Think of them as pre-assembled units. Like, don't just learn the word go. Learn go to school, go shopping, go for a walk, go home.
So you grab the whole unit when you need it.
Exactly. Your brain has these ready-made phrases stored. It doesn't have to construct the sentence piece by piece. It just pulls out the whole chunk. This makes speaking much faster, much more fluid, and reduces that mental effort. It's about having these building blocks ready to go.
That makes so much sense for speeding things up. Okay, these are all really practical steps, but let's be honest. Many learners face real hurdles like feeling shy, worrying about mistakes, or just freezing up and forgetting words. So what does all this mean for someone hitting those walls? How do they keep that English thinking going?
Yeah, this raises a really important point about, well, the psychology of language learning. We have to address these anxieties. First off, mistakes. Please, everyone listening, reframe how you see mistakes. They're not failures. They are proof you are trying. You're pushing yourself.
That's a good way to put it.
Honestly, even native speakers make mistakes, so normalize them. They're just part of the process. Data for your brain to learn from. Don't let them stop you. Second, forgetting words, also totally normal, happens to everyone. The key is don't stop thinking in English when it happens. Don't jump back to your native language to find the word. Instead, try to explain it using the English you do know.
Like the thing for sitting example for chair.
Exactly. Or if you forget umbrella, say, the thing you use for rain. People will understand, and crucially, you kept your brain in English mode. That builds resourcefulness and keeps the flow.
Okay, stay in the language. And what about shyness? That fear of speaking?
Very common. The best way to tackle this, I think, is to build confidence by practicing alone first. Use these techniques we've discussed. Thinking in English, narrating your day, having those little conversations with yourself. Get comfortable producing English internally. When you feel more solid generating English just for yourself, you'll naturally feel more confident trying it out with others. It's about building that internal foundation first.
That's really encouraging. It makes these challenges feel less like roadblocks and more like part of the training. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, let's just quickly recap the main strategies. We talked about immersion, surrounding yourself, starting with simple thoughts in English, narrating your day, thinking in pictures, not just words, practicing those mini conversations with yourself, maybe even shadowing and learning phrases, those chunks, not just single words. And the big takeaway seems to be that fluency isn't really about being perfect, right? It's more about freedom to express yourself without that translation jam, and consistent practice makes it automatic.
Absolutely. And look, so make this real right now. Here's a little challenge for everyone listening after this deep dive finishes. Look around your room, right where you are, and name 10 objects you see in English, out loud or in your head. Then make just 3 simple sentences in English about your day so far. I woke up early, I drank coffee, the weather is nice. Whatever.
Simple, actionable steps.
Exactly. Make these little things a daily habit, even 5 minutes. Every single time you consciously choose to think in English, you're literally rewiring your brain, building that muscle. You're getting closer. Keep at it. You can definitely do this.
You absolutely can. The power to shift things is right there in your own mind. Remember, every single thought you intentionally have in English is a win, a new connection. So embrace it, keep practicing, and enjoy that feeling of freedom as it grows.